choose more. I choose peace. I choose peace. When my world falls down, I will rise. When my world falls down, I will rise.
We come together to seek God, trusting that God is seeking us with open arms. All are welcome here. No matter our doubts or questions, where we come from, or who we love, even in the chaotic seasons of life, we are loved by God. All are welcome here. We believe that everyone is a child of God. Every age, race, gender, identity, and creed. All are beautifully and colorfully made and of sacred worth. All are welcome here. We affirm that God is a good God who lifts the oppressed, loves the vulnerable, and is open to all. So we choose to have open hearts, open minds, and open doors to God and to each other. All are welcome here.
Hello and welcome to this gathering of Open. We are so glad to be joining with you today. You are welcome here. I'm Pastor Jonathan Perry, and this is Open, coming safely today from Open and from our homes to join with you in your home. It means so much to us right now to be able to connect in community with you in this way. You are welcome here. Today, amidst everything from our homes and lives and stories, we come together to seek God, to seek to follow God in our world in this time, seeking to listen and learn together from each other and from the heart of God, to join together in the loving work of the God of justice and joy and peace. And so to center our hearts around that today, we've got some friends who are going to lead us in our liturgy this morning. They'll be leading us in words that are simple, but they are profound. That wherever you are, wherever you find yourself on this day, in the heart of God, in the love of this community, all are welcome here. So friends, let's lift this up together.
We come together to seek God.
Trusting that God is seeking us with open arms.
All are welcome here.
No matter our doubts or questions, where we come from, or who we love. Even in the chaotic seasons of life, we are loved by God. All are welcome here.
We believe that everyone is a child of God, every age, race, gender, identity, ability, and creed. All are beautifully and colorfully made and of sacred worth. All are welcome here.
We affirm that God is a good God who lifts the oppressed, loves the vulnerable, and is open to all. So we choose to have open hearts, open minds, open arms, and open doors to God and to each other. All are welcome here.
Good morning, friends, and welcome to Open Worship this morning. We are so glad that you are gathered with us from your homes today. At this time, we'd like to invite you to pop on over to opendtx.com/sign in. Even if you've done this before, it just helps us get a clearer picture of who all is here. If you are new and haven't commented before, please say hello in the comments. We'd love to meet you. And now let's greet each other and let it be known that all are welcome here.
Glory that crowns you. hold fast, I will believe, never change. Glorious things are spoken of you. Glorious things too great to tell. Glorious things are spoken of you. You make everything beautiful, glorious. And I will say it is true, your love is not moved. And I will say it is true, your love is not moved. And I will say it is true, your love endures all my days. I will say, and I will say it is true, your love is not moved. And I will say it is true, your love is not moved. And I will say it is true, your love endures all my Glorious things are spoken of you. Glorious things too great to tell. Glorious things are spoken of you. You make everything beautiful and glorious.
Hey friends, my name is Crystal, and with me today I have my friends Brandon and Clay and Dave and Kelly, and we are your worship leaders this morning. We just want you to know that whoever you are, whatever your story or identity is, God's love is here for you, and so are we. Let's continue to worship together.
Come
friends, as you know, we've been seeking to refresh our souls as we've begun a new year, and today we're seeking to refresh our focus, to remember to say yes to the next right thing, and to say no to what doesn't serve our calling to love God, our neighbors, and ourselves. We're about to sing a song together that is a refocusing song, remembering exactly who God says that we are, and offering our hearts to be refocused on what is good, true, and worthy of our energy. As we sing this song together, we invite you to share any prayer requests in the comments so that we can lift them up together as a community.
Here's my heart, Lord. Here's my heart, Lord. Here's my heart, Lord. Speak what is true. Here's my heart, Lord. Here's my heart, Lord. Here's my heart, Lord. Speak what is true.
I am found, I am yours, I am loved, I'm made whole, I have life, I can breathe, I am healed, I am free.
Here's my heart, Lord. Here's my heart, Lord. Here's my heart, Lord. Speak what is true.
I am found, I am yours, I am loved, I'm made whole, I have life, I can breathe, I am healed, I am free. 'Cause you are strong, you are sure, you are light, you endure, you are good, always true, you are light, breaking through. Here's my heart, Lord. Here's my heart, Lord. Here's my heart, Lord.
Hi friends, it's great to be with you this week. As we seek to navigate the whirlwind of this world, this opportunity to center our time right now together in the love of God is something that I'm so grateful for. It's so important to me. And so thank you for being a part of this together. And so this past week, I had one of those busy days. The one where you know it's going to be a sprint and you spend the night before just breathing deep and carb loading for the energy you're going to need to get through the day, right? And so I woke up early and got ready and I stepped outside. The night before, I had taken the trash out so that I could hit the ground running in the morning. And when I walked out to leave and start that sprint, I saw that something had gotten into one of those trash bags. In fact, the trash bag that held styrofoam, that crumbly styrofoam in it. And it was now spread all over the neighborhood. It looked like the snow that we had waited on last week had finally come. It was everywhere and it was something. And for a moment, I thought about my busy schedule and what the day held. And I looked around for a raccoon to blame all of this on. And then I looked at my neighbors' homes that were covered in this snow that will not biodegrade. And I took a deep breath and I put down my bags and I got to work. And I'm not looking for applause here. I literally did the minimum human decent thing in that moment. But that moment I had to decide what was the most important thing? What was the right thing for me to do? Saying yes to my neighbors meant saying no to my schedule, asking for grace and patience from my colleagues, and maybe getting a little bit less done than I had charted out the night before. Some things weren't going to be done right, but I was going to be doing the right thing right now. And so as I spent my morning picking up styrofoam snow from literally the whole neighborhood, I didn't feel stressed or chaotic. I felt clear. Now, not every story ends like that, of course, but when we do the right thing, more often than not, even if we don't reach our destination, there is peace in knowing that we are headed in the right direction. And right now, with all that is swirling around in our lives, in our world, and in our souls, that peace and that clarity would really be something on this journey. Because there's just this endless shifting whirlwind with us these days of difficult choices, of unclear outcomes, of changing dynamics. And so now when Katy Perry asked me if I've ever felt like a plastic bag, I'm like, yes. I feel like tiny pieces of styrofoam twisting in the wind. There are so many demands and dynamics. Our life can feel overwhelmed and our souls underwhelmed. And so in the midst of it all, how do we find our footing, our direction, our clarity, ourselves? There's so many ways to answer this, but today I want to focus on two tiny, powerful words: yes and no. Every yes means saying no to something else, right? Every no is the opportunity to find a better yes, and maybe even to be guided toward our best yes. Those two words, yes and no, represent decision, discernment, direction, choice. Today's choices become tomorrow's circumstances, and so how we make our choices is setting us in the direction for tomorrow. Is it setting us in the right direction? In the words of my little nephew, for tomorrow, and 3-morrow, and 4-morrow, and all of the morrows that lie ahead. There's a power in yes and no. Every decision sets our direction. And so how can we be intentional about that direction? How can we refresh our yes? So one day, Jesus was teaching about how to live in the way of life and love. And as he talked, he offered this little enigmatic aphorism that might offer us some clarity today. He said simply, let your yes be yes, and your no be no. Let your yes be yes, and your no be no. He was talking about a lot of things, about being true to our word, about not using coercion to get our way. But he was also offering us this simple moral framework. Let your yes be for the things worth saying yes to. Let it be for the direction we really want to say yes to. Realizing that yes sets our direction, charts our course. Let your yes be for your best yes, for the best yes. When faith and life and expectations and relationship dynamics and roles come into play, there can be a lot of expectations to say yes to in our world. It's a good thing to be helpful and to serve each other and to try to do right by each other. All of those are good things, and we need more people in our world trying to do right by each other, right? But when our yes is determined only by seeking the affirmation and evaluation of others, we can end up chasing the praise of others to find our self-worth. And it's like chasing tiny bits of styrofoam in the wind, trust me. And sometimes we can chase after that affirmation at the expense of those we really need to love and serve. Our people, our family, ourselves, our purpose. And rather than trying to say yes to every good thing, perhaps there is an even better good yes to chase after. And so how do we let our yes be yes? But more importantly, how do we let it be the best yes? So what is that for you? What is your best yes? Well, here's one way to think of it. What is your best yes? Well, it is you playing your part. Saying yes with all your gifts and graces and uniquenesses, with all the things you hold dearest. It is you playing your part, saying yes to your sacred purpose and what God has entrusted you with. Playing your part in your life, your family, your work, your community, in this world, wherever you are, doing the good that is yours to do and letting others do the good that is theirs to do. And so who is God calling you to be? What is your part? What is the part that is yours to do? For me, that yes begins with what is only mine to do. I'm a pastor, yes, that is for me to do. But before that, I'm a parent and a partner. And others can preach, others can offer leadership to the community, but no one else is Grace and Hudson's dad and Lindsay's spouse first. And my yes there needs to be a big yes. In order to say that big yes, that means saying lots of little no's in other places in life. And it's the same for you in those most important best yeses in your life. Remember this, when I say no, when we say no, which is so very hard sometimes, as my calendar attests, I need to remember that those no's are not unnecessary rejections. They're necessary protections of my best and first yeses. There'll be disappointment in every no, for you and for others. FOMO is real for me. And so it needs to make sure that the disappointment is intended in the right direction, that it's leading me in the right direction toward my best yes. Sometimes it's hard to say no to family and friends. We take those relationships seriously. But when we say no with intention, direction, graciousness, and empathy, and humility, we say that in a way that allows life to flourish and possibilities to arise. But there are times when there are those that we have to say no to, that cannot get beyond the disappointment with our no's, and sometimes might use guilt or coercion to try to get your no to be, okay, well, maybe, fine. To try to avoid that disappointment, sometimes we might change our no's. You know what I mean? But just remember that even if you said yes now into those relationships, there would be disappointment about something somewhere down the road. And so by trying to seek out the best yes now, we might all grow in our respect for each other. And for us, we need to remember that we're not to use our no's as a weapon or to wash away our responsibilities. Saying yes and no isn't just about doing what you want. It's about making sure that you're doing what you really, really want. And that what you really, really want and are called to do is what you're saying yes to. And over time, as we choose, we can let our yes and our no reorient and refresh our direction toward that greater yes. So how do we find that? How do we find that yes? Well, I said the best yes is you in all you are, saying yes to playing your part in God's work of love and life and liberation in your home, in your work and community, wherever you are right now. And so the first thing to do is to simply pay attention right now to where you are. Where are you right now? Who are you called to love first and foremost in a way that no one else can? Who are you called to serve? What are you called to work on? Where are you right now, and what is your right part right here, right now, to do the right thing? What is the yes that you are called to? Take a moment amidst this life and amidst the whirlwind and the swirl to reflect, to pay attention. Sometimes we want big direction signs from God, but so often God just wants us to pay attention. The signs are often right here with us, and the direction is found right here with us as well. And so pay attention, because that big yes is often simply what God has entrusted you with right now. And this is a little cheesy, but I cannot stop thinking about it in this way. Lisa Turkhurst, who writes about this discernment and decision making, gives us this helpful little word. She says, in the middle of the rush, find your us. In the middle of the rush, find your us. Who are you called to be most for in the middle of the rush? Let that be your first yes. That's where the purpose that God has for you is found. And when we do that, when we find that us in the middle of the rush, in that us so often you'll find you as well. So pay attention. The next thing is this: set your direction. And every decision is a direction. And it is through small steps of yes and no that we walk the paths toward where we are headed. We set our eyes on the direction. Our moments of yes and no are just as important as our steps forward. That's what keeps us on the path. And so where are you headed? What is God calling you to be? What kind of person is God calling you to be? Reaching our destination will not happen just by sheer will or work or worry or by time itself. We will get there by setting our destination and using our power of yes and no with the time we have to help us make a decision in the right direction. Direction determines our destination. And so here's a way to think about those directions. When you're facing a fork in the road, or even a little moment like, should I go to class today? Say this: in light of my past experience, my present reality, and my future vision, what is the best yes right now? And say yes. Say that yes that takes what you've learned, acknowledges where you are, but helps you walk in the direction of the vision of where you are called to be. Take a step toward your yes. Knowing that sometimes the fulfillment of that yes is a future vision, but trusting that direction determines our destination, and then do the work of putting one foot in front of the other. In Psalm 23, the poet offers this beautiful, restful word for us. You make me lie down in green pastures. You lead me beside still waters. You restore my soul. Which is this beautiful vision. Oh, let it be so, right? But that vision is a destination we're being led to. And sometimes there are mountains and valleys and rocks to pass along the way. but keep your eyes on the prize of green pastures and still waters, knowing that the God who is leading you there is with you every step of your journey. And sometimes journeying through those mountains and valleys takes courage, it takes faith, it takes vision of where we're headed for ourselves in our lives and for us, all of us, together. Letting our yes be yes and our no be no takes courage in our own lives, but it also calls us to moral courage in our life together. Here's what I mean. Last week, we talked about that higher vision, the direction that God is calling us toward, pulling us toward, leading us toward. A vision, we said, of a love ethic, of the beloved community where all are welcomed, all are celebrated and empowered, where the vulnerable uplifted and justice is done and peace flourishes. It's that higher vision, that direction is a big yes. And getting there will lead each of us through many inflection points where we need to say yes, or others where we need to say no. To say no to hatred and bigotry, exclusion, inhumanity. To say no to systems of supremacy and racism in our world, in our church, in ourselves. To say no in the midst of conversations and relationships. To say no to complacency amidst this journey. To say no. So that instead we can say yes to the best yes. To stand up for goodness, humanity, for beauty and diversity. To choose to say yes to justice and joy and peace and the things that lead us there. To affirm the work of Black lives and brown lives in our world and to our common destiny in this beloved community we are seeking to build. To say yes in humanity, to listening, to reflection, to growing, to changing, and also to say yes to the sacred humanity of even those who stand against, always bearing witness to the higher way. To let our yes be the best yes. And insofar as we are able to let our yes be a reflection of the divine yes. There are a million yeses and nos along this journey. We have about 35,000 decisions to make each day, almost as many as little styrofoam balls that were floating through my neighborhood. But each one of them are a part of that larger yes together. To say yes in our workplaces, our communities, in our homes, in our lives. To say the best yes in the parts that you are entrusted with right now, with a vision for the right yes that lies ahead in that higher vision. Because in the swirl and in the storm, in the rush of it all, we can find the sacred yes that has been entrusted to us by God. So in that rush of it all, find your part to play in us, and find the us that you're called to say yes to. And when you do that, you will find your you as well. And so may we be people of a refreshed yes, of a refreshed vision, and of the moral courage to walk in a direction that leads us to that higher destination. May we be people who let our no's be no and our yeses be seeking after the best yes. In the grace of God, in the power of community, in the love of the Spirit that leads us on. Amen, friends. Amen.
God of creation, there at the start, before the beginning of time. With no point of reference, you spoke to the dark and fleshed out the wonder of light. And as you speak, worship so alive. If the mountains bow in reverence so alive. If the oceans roar your greatness so alive. For if everything exists to lift you high, so alive. If the wind goes where you send it, so alive. If the rocks cry out in silence, so alive. If the sum of all our praises still falls shy, then we'll sing again 100 billion God of salvation, you chased out my heart through all of my failure and pride. On a hill you created, light of the world, abandoned the darkness to die. And as you speak, 100 billion failures disappear. Where you lost your life, so I could find it here. If you left the grave behind you, so alive, I can see your heart in everything you've done. Every part designed in a work of art called love. If you gladly chose surrender so alive, I can see your heart in a billion different ways. Every precious one, a child you died to save. If you gave your life to love them so alive, like you would again 100 billion times, but what measure could amount to your desire? You're the one who never leaves the one behind.
Hey, church family, my name is Crystal, and I'd like to share some upcoming opportunities to connect here at the church. Our FUMC Denton Kids team has put together some great at-home activity bags to inspire your kids' creativity, and we would love for your children to be able to participate. You can swing by the church today between noon and 2 p.m. to pick up a bag under the East Wing awning. Also, next Sunday, January 31st from noon to 2, our youth are hosting an outdoor chili fair to help raise money for youth missions. Today is the last day to pre-order chili, or you can come in person to get your individually packaged chili to go and participate in the silent auction. Pints of chili will be available for a donation, and all money raised will go to youth missions. And before or after you swing by the fair, consider participating in the blood drive that will also be happening at the church from 9 a.m. to 2 p.m. that day. You can learn about all of this and more at fumcdenton.com/events.
Thank you, Crystal and friends. Thank you for being with us today. Thank you for being people who are seeking to say yes to that sacred yes in the midst of this life as we walk in the way of love together. We're grateful to be in this with you, to be part of the us with you in the midst of the rush of it all. And so on this journey, may you know God's love, hear God's call, and experience the empowerment of God and community together as you seek to say your best yes in this life. We do this together, and a great way to live into that togetherness is through open groups. And so throughout the week, there are opportunities to connect with others in group and in growth opportunities. You can go to opendtx.com/groups to learn more about awesome opportunities to connect and learn and grow together. We want to continue to thank you for the ways that you're supporting this community, together with great love and care and generosity. Each week, you can go to opendtx.com/give to support this community that seeks to be a beacon to the good things we want to say yes to in this world. Thank you for being a part of that. And finally, let us know you're here at opendtx.com/sign-in. It helps us whenever you watch that we can get a good picture of this community, stay connected to each other. Thank you so much for signing in and for doing that. And so now, as you go into the world or into your neighborhoods, moving forward in love, take these words of hope and benediction with you as you go. Friends, may the empowerment of community and the empowerment of a God who loves you and is with you be with you. May you find your yes, your best yes, and may you have the courage and moral courage to let your no's be no's and your yeses be yes. May we pay attention, may we do our part, and may we walk each step in the direction of the higher love of God for all people. Friends, go forth this week to walk in the way of love and life and liberation, and say yes to the true life together. So go in grace, go in peace, and go in the love of God always. Amen.
God of creation, there at the start, before the beginning of time. With no point of reference, you spoke to the dark and fleshed out the wonder of